Hello, Steve White's 89. Well, there was an interview with Anson just recently, which kind of worried me. The headline was Anson says Strange New Worlds Season 2 will explore the limits of Star Trek's idealism. I don't know why New Trek is so obsessed with deconstructing and challenging Star Trek's idealism, Star Trek's optimism. The utopian future Gene Roddenberry established that in the future humanity would evolve and we would be in a better place and we'd be able to explore the future and deal with other races from a better position than we would be today or in the near future. And a lot of other science fiction shows, that were darker and dealt more with, realistic sort of themes and problems that were more relatable to today. They didn't have that viewpoint that Star Trek did. And I read the interview, and he's asked by the guy, basically, early Star Trek, original Star Trek portrayed violence as a problem and empathy and diplomacy as the solution to the problem. And he felt that Strange New Worlds was more hawkish and militaristic in its approach to conflict. As an example, the Gorn. The Gorn in the original Star Trek series was a humanoid race, and they were just like us. And Kirk eventually realised that. In the new show, they turn them into xenomorphs. They're basically monsters. They're just like animals. You can't reason with them. They could have created another race to fill that role in Star Trek, because it does kind of need to be explored on some level, I guess. But to make the Gorn into those when we've already established that they're an intelligent humanoid race with culture and everything else, and science and everything, just to make them into monsters, it's a step back. It's a regression. And his sort of response to that was that, well, you'll have to see. We take that on, basically those exact questions that you've sort of said, those themes we look at. Is it possible to maintain idealism and, optimism and, your morals and ideals when you're being challenged by something that can't be reasoned with, like a monster, basically? Are there monsters? And that's really not Star Trek's story. We've already established that, there are no monsters. That, when you shine light on something and you explore something and you are educated, you have information, you can resolve problems, you can work out what the creature is, what it needs, what it wants, how to deal with it, instead of just, it's a monster, shoot it. It's not Star Trek. So it's really frustrating to see them keep doing this, because it seems to be just, New Trek is all about just, like I said, tearing Star Trek apart and breaking it down to who we are today, and sort of saying, well, that universe that Gene Roddenberry created, that was unrealistic. It was, it's not maintainable. You can't do it. It's too optimistic. We it's just cynical and negative, and it's just hard when you love Star Trek to sort of see them pull it apart. And why do I want this science fiction show in my life that just says, well, we're not really going to be any better than we are today. We're going to have the same problems, we're going to have the same challenges, and this future that Gene gave us, it's really not achievable. We're not going to get there. It wasn't maintained. We couldn't maintain it. It was unrealistic. That's sort of what they're saying, because they obviously don't believe in that universe. They don't believe in that world. They don't believe in humanity like Gene did. They're not humanists. And it's just really disturbing and disappointing, because I thought Strange New Worlds was going in the right direction. It started off well. It had a few good episodes, but they got caught up in canon, and then they, turned the Gorn into xenomorphs and made them into monsters. And Star Trek doesn't have monsters, because monsters are what ignorant people think aliens are. And Star Trek's about, knowledge and intelligence and exploring and learning, not being afraid and shooting. Like, I don't know, it's a monster, shoot it. That's not Star Trek. So I don't know. I just found that kind of worrying, because I remember when I met Anson Mount, I sort of wanted to ask him, how can you be filming, he says he was a Star Trek fan, how can you be filming scenes on a bridge that's not the bridge, and with aliens like the Telosians who definitely aren't the Telosians from the original series, and still sort of believe that you're in the Star Trek universe and, you know, play Captain Pike who isn't Captain Pike. I mean, I never really got into it with him. I just asked him a couple of things. But yeah, I'm not sure he really gets Star Trek. I'm not sure if he was a fan of the original Star Trek or the later Star Treks. You know, he says he's a fan. I think they kind of feel like they have to say that to try and deflect some of our concerns. But I don't think he really knows what Star Trek is, because he doesn't seem to see any issues with going in this direction and the show being, you know, it's supposed to be Strange New Worlds, but it's more like Dark Universe. I don't know. I'm feeling less optimistic about the second season and investing in it, because I don't feel like the first season delivered. But I'm going to go. I don't want to get to 6 minutes. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.